Good morning, dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to Study IQ. I hope you all are doing good today. Is 16th May. Let's see what we have got in the Hindu today. But before that, a positive start. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. There is an Arabic proverb, and it goes something like this: that a person who has health has hope, and a person who has hope has everything. So hope is something that is very important. Hope, you might have heard about this thing that hope runs the whole world, and this is very true. If you lose hope, then you lose confidence, and it is very important. If you are doing anything in your life, even most basic things in your life, you cannot do without hope and confidence. And the good thing is, the key for both these things, right, hope and confidence, is within us. It is totally under our control. It will take time, but gradually you will learn how to generate hope and confidence within yourselves. There are many techniques out there, but we'll talk about it sometime in future. With this, dear friends, let's see what we have got in the paper today. We have got this most important article in today's this editorial page is this one. It is pertaining to MG Narega. We'll go through it. This one is about India and China, why both these countries are coming together, what are common things that are bringing both these countries together. Then you have this third place winner, and this one is Pieces of a Scattered Mandate. It is about Karnataka Assembly result. Again, we have to wait and watch, but we'll go through this editorial. You have one or two important points in this one. Then this is about At Last a Scheme. It is about Kaveri scheme, right? Kaveri water sharing scheme. So again, important article. I have got some pictures for you guys that will help you to revise, and it will take you through all this from this inception of this Kaveri issue till date, what has gone by. Everything will be covered under these two pictures that I have. We have used these pictures many a times in the past as well. This is for new students, and it will be for regular students. It's going to be a bit of revision for you guys. And this article is about, it's basically interview. Today is Wednesday. Every Wednesday we have one interview in the Hindu. So this is an interview of Army Chief of Sri Lanka. Some important points that we find here, I will take you through it. I will leave it on you guys to go through this whole interview. I will, of course, reckon you guys to go through this whole interview. Right, so dear friends, if you want to download the PDF of today's discussion, you will get it from my Facebook page and Twitter handle. You can also get in touch with me. If you have any question or queries, you can drop a message or something, right? And I will try my level best to get back to you as soon as possible. I have gone through a couple of messages from you guys. It's about current affairs and things. So I will get back to you hopefully today. With this, dear friends, don't forget to pass your like if you learn something from today's discussion, and do share this lecture with other people as well, because your words, they matter, because you are following this lecture for a bit of long time. Study IQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. If you check out studyiq.com, you will get all important information regarding pen drive and tablet courses that are provided by us, and all these different exams that we cover. This exams that you can see on your screen, they are not the only ones. There are other exams as well that we cover. So make sure you check out studyiq.com. Now, the first item that we have is this MG Narega. Right, it is one of the most important scheme in our country. It provides job guarantee. The full form of this MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural. It covers this rural area employment guarantee. That means this act or this scheme guarantees that you will be provided with employment if you are living in rural area. One more thing that you have to keep in mind, it is for manual labor work, right? So this scheme is for those people who are, you can say, unskilled, who don't have that degrees and education qualification, but they can do a little bit of, manual labor work, and they can basically earn enough money so that they can live or survive, right? Other supports or other benefits are provided by government by various different schemes. But the thing is, one thing that we have to keep in mind, that government should not and cannot provide everything for free. The thing is, we have got, nature has provided us free air, water, and land, and all these things, and you know it very well how we have destroyed these free things. So free items, they don't really, to be honest, if you ask me personally, then people don't really appreciate things that are free. Like take this lecture, right? YouTube lecture, it is free, but this is one of the reason why people don't. If you are being charged, then people would, you will feel that curiosity. When you have all this, if you have access to free gym, then you will go there or not go there. But if you have paid premium price, if you have paid 25,000 fee for 1 year, then you will care about it. In the same way, if you have this question that how about government giving money rather than asking them to work? But the thing is, with this thing, all this, like recently we talked about this pond creation, isn't it? That you create ponds and lakes, small lakes and small ponds, so that you can harvest this rainfall water. So this is done. It is going on as we are speaking in different parts of our country, like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and other places as well. So this can be done by this MG Narega. If you go back in the history, I'm sure you might have visited to many different historical forts and big palaces. And this were built under something similar, MG Narega, when there was not that much work available at that point of time. These kings used to come out with this sort of schemes, that you build palace or big walls and fortification of this creating fort, big walls around this whole village or this whole region. So these things were again, right, this sort of work was launched to provide employment to all this youth in that particular region. Now, enough has been said about the background of the importance of MG Narega. Now, this particular article, we are going to focus on three things. The first one is lack of sufficient funds, right? If you don't provide enough fund, then you cannot run a scheme. The other thing is delay in payment. If you have done your work, then you need your money as well, isn't it? By the end of the month or every week or something, right? It depends. In our country, it is end of the month. So every end of the month, every on first of a new month, right? People would be expecting their salary, they receive their wages or salary or fees or whatever, so that they can sort out their whole budget for the whole month. And then you have rate as well. These are the three things that we are going to talk. Wage rate, right? Whether wage rate is good or is not good. Now the thing is, we talked about this, we know this Nirav Modi case, 11,000 crore rupees, right? This fraud, this person is associated with this much fraud. What we find with MG Narega budget that is announced, we find that at present, as far as this 2016-17 is concerned, total of 11,000 crore rupees fund or wage is still not been given out by this MG Narega scheme, or under this MG Narega scheme there is 11,000 crore wage that is still pending. So this is fifth, or you can say 20% of total MG Narega budget that was announced in 2018-19. The other thing, and one of the most important thing about MG Narega, is that it is a worker-centric legislation. And it is also means worker-centric legislation means the whole focus is on the person who is doing this manual work. The other thing is, it has clearly stated transparency and accountability. These are two important things that are already there in MG Narega. The other thing is real-time management information system has also been, means it's not just a scheme that is on paper. We have also seen introduction of new technology like this progressive measures of real-time management information system that will keep all your data and wage payment and other things. So we have step by step introduced many new technologies as well. And one of the most important thing about this MG Narega is that it is, as well as it is this work centric, it is also demand driven scheme. That means if there is a demand of work out there, then it is the duty of the government to provide work to the people. Like you have 15 days. So if you say, for example, if a person called X wants to work, or if he or she is seeking work in rural area, then he will go to this panchayat office and register himself or herself as a worker seeking work under MG Narega. Now, within 15 days, this person should be provided work by government, some sort of manual labor work. And if that person is not being given work within 15 days, then from 16th day, right, he will be entitled to unemployment allowance. So this is how it works. It is a demand driven scheme. The other thing is, once your work is done, once you have done your due share of work, within 15 days of completion of work, you should get your payment. If you don't get your payment within 15 days, then 0.05% per day, you can say interest or whatever you have earned. If you have earned, if you are entitled for 100 rupees per day, then 0.05 of 100 rupees per day will be added because the payment has not been given to you on time. What we find here at present, these are the things that are part of this law or this MG Narega. We find routine violation of these two things, and once you violate these two things, then basically this whole scaffolding on which this MG Narega is standing will come down. And because of this reason, there is a case going on at present in Supreme Court. It is called Swaraj Abhiyan. Just keep this name in your mind, right? You don't have to use it, but it will give you whenever you read something about Swaraj Abhiyan and Union of India or Government of India. Swaraj Abhiyan versus Union of India. A case is going on pertaining to these things, and it is basically this case is talking about all these three things that we have talked about. This lack of sufficient funds, rampant payment delays, as well as abysmal wage rate or very low wage rate. Now, if we see the real budget, right, a real budget means what is actually required in 2018-19. And if you compare, see, in terms of figures, it may look that the money has gone up. Earlier on in 2010-11, say for example, I used to give you 100 rupees for this MG Narega. Now I'm giving you 105 rupee. So yes, as a figure, it may look that there is addition of 5 rupees in this many years. But if you see real wage demand, or if you see the real budget that is required, then you will realize that we need 150, but you are being given 105. So this is something that we are finding at present. The other thing is, this is very interesting. There is a thing called labor budget, and how it works is that every December, right, at the end of December each year, state governments, right, they will send this labor budget to central government. And what this labor budget is all about, it will see, budget basically means a future thing, you know, this much you are going to spend in this thing, this much you are, so it's basically a plan on paper, you can say that. So every December, all state governments, they will send this report or this budget, labor budget, to central government. And in this labor budget, they will anticipate, like this year or this next financial year starts from April and it ends in March, you know that, right? So between this 1 year or new financial year, this much labor will be required, labor demand will be required, etc., is given every year. Now, what we find is, in recent past, Government of India has came out with this NEFMS, that is National Electronic Fund Management System guidelines, which were issued in 2016-17, which says that the Management Information System MIS will not allow states to generate more employment above the limits set by agreed to LB. That means central government, if there is, say for example, if you are a state of Maharashtra, and you have said that, I'm just giving you a rough example so that you can understand that this year, new financial year, you will require 100 hours of labor work. Now, the central government has said that not more than 50 hours will be allocated or will be allowed. So you can see here, because this thing is done by this central government, there will be a drop down. First of all, the budget money will come down, as well as when you are asking for more hours, or if there is an actual real demand in your state, if you want to conduct this, if you are Maharashtra or Gujarat, if you have this big arid region, and if you want to create ponds and lakes before this rainfall, the money will not be issued or will not be allowed under MG Narega because of this sort of things like this NEFMS and this MIS. Now, the thing is, what happens when you cut down, when central government is cutting down this demand or labor budget, when it is not accepting this full labor budget of a state government, you cannot register as a labor. If you are seeking work, then you cannot register. So because of this thing, this whole, this important thing that we talked about, that within 15 days you should be given work, or if not, then allowance will start, this thing is not taking place. The other thing is that only 21% of payments in 2016-17 and 32% of payments in first 2 quarters of 2017-18 were made on time. Central government is claiming that 85% of wages were sorted out or made on time, but this is not right. A study has found that only 32% and 21% is done. 25% of the fund transfer orders pertaining to workers' wages from January to April are still pending. Can you believe that? And government is saying that 85%. So this is the second problem that we were talking about. The other thing is wages, right? You have MG Narega running in your village, in your rural area, but who wants to work in this MG Narega? Because the money that you are being paid is lower than minimum agriculture wage in most of the states. So people will rather work in agriculture field, and the condition of our agriculture, we don't need that many people. We need people for other social infrastructure projects in different parts of our country, particularly rural area. But if you are not getting that much money, say for example, if I give you 50 rupees for the whole day labor, and if you will get 75 rupees if you work in agriculture field, then of course you are going to go for this 75, isn't it? Even if this one is under MG Narega, because you would be making more money. And these are not people who, again, remember, these are manual labor workers, right? They are unskilled people, and most of the beneficiaries or user of this MG Narega are women, Dalits and Adivasis. And what happens when they are been getting low wage? They will be pushed to choose more vulnerable and hazardous employment opportunities. So far we can say that as far as legal items are concerned, it is going under crisis, this MG Narega. As far as moral items are concerned, it is going under crisis as well. And let's hope that this case that is going on, judiciary will sort out or make necessary changes in this MG Narega. Moving on to another item, this is about At Last a Scheme. Now, dear friends, these are the two pictures, right? That means it's not in today's Hindu. You find it in 17 February 2018's The Hindu. So I will leave these two pictures for you guys. I'm sure you will download the PDF of this discussion, and you can go through all these items, right? This whole chronology, and you can go through this share as well. This is the verdict of Supreme Court in 2018. It has basically divided this water. Total 740 TMC feet water has been divided between different states and one union territory by Supreme Court. Now, we know that Karnataka election is over, and central government was supposed to provide this or submit a draft scheme in Apex, that means Supreme Court, before this election. It has already missed the deadline, but better, it's fine. Means this is the best we can expect from the center. So anyways, it has finally mustered this courage to submit this draft scheme for apportioning this Kaveri water, or you can say this division of Kaveri water among these riparian states. You will find the names here, so I'm not repeating, but let me clarify it. You have 3 states and 1 union territory, right? Go through the names. Now, as per this draft scheme that is submitted by the central government in this Supreme Court, it has this 2-tier system of body. One is apex body, and the main job of this apex body is to ensure that all these terms and condition, or all these figures and these conditions that are decided are basically complied with, are taking place in reality. And to do that, you have one committee as well. This committee will look after all this field situation, what's going on, how much water is being distributed, things like that. So you have one body, apex body, that is you can say an umpire body, and then you have this committee that will be out there in the field. And altogether, this two-tier system will look after this apportionment, regulation and control of Kaveri waters, supervision of operations and reservoirs, and regulation of water that is released. Now the thing is, you've also find one ambiguous clause. This clause is something that can create problems in future. Again, at present we have to wait and watch whether this will create problem or not, but this particular clause that you have in this latest scheme, it basically gives this upper hand. So for example, just in case, right, I'm just giving you a rough example. You have this 4 parties, right? 1 union territory and 3 states. So out of this 1, 2, 3 and 4, this 4th party has decided that it will not cooperate with what has been said or what has been decided. Now during this sort of situation, what will happen is that this body will take help of central government, and central government's decision will be final and binding. If central government will say that this particular party number 4 should be done this, and or this should be done by party number 4, this and that, etc., this is something that has to be done by party number 4. This is a clause that you find here. So it could be either an enabling clause that will sort out problems in future, or you can also say that it can create this unnecessary intervention of central government when these things are been decided already. So we have to wait and watch. There are 2 ways from where we are standing as far as this ambiguous clause is concerned. What can be done by all these parties is that they should accept this mechanism that has been decided. It's been ages, isn't it? Means for a very long period of time this case was going on. We have seen many ups and downs, right? Many wars, and when I say wars, I mean to say many harsh conflict between 2 different states, or more than 2 states in one country, in our country. They are against each other, people hating each other and things like that. But one of the most good thing, or you can say welcome step, that we find in this particular thing, or this Kaveri issue, or this outcome, is that now, earlier on, these decisions were taken by this political domain or politician. Now it is entrusted to experts, and experts who have worked in the field of agriculture, water management. They will take decisions. So hopefully when experts will take decision, it will be fair, and it will be with equity and beneficial for all the farmers in our this 4 states or parties in our country. This one is about Wuhan province. Recently Prime Minister Modi was there in China, and as far as India-China relationship is concerned, it is considered as hallmark of missed opportunities and false starts. In 1950s, we came out with this Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai thingy, brotherly friendship relationship between Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Mao Zedong. And they promised that they will redefine this whole Asia, because both this country became free and India became free from this colonization and things like that. So there was a new hope at that point of time around the world, particularly in Asia. And these 2 giants, this tiger or elephant and this dragon, together decided that they will redefine whole Asia. They will bring this Asia out of poverty and things like that. And there were many people at that point of time, they were dreaming that together, this two countries coming together, these two big players coming together, will bring new renaissance in the developing world. These all different developing countries in the world, they will get inspiration from these two countries coming together. But we had this 1962 war with each other, and from there all these dreams were shattered. We have even today this overhang of a border issue going on between both the countries, and at present what we are seeing, since then we have seen ups and downs, isn't it? When Xi Jinping was here in 2014, we have talked about this thing. Then Chumar issue was going on. Then later on we saw this Doklam and things like that. But at present we are here. This Wuhan meeting that took place between Mr. Xi and Mr. Modi, informal meeting, which was very unique, and we are going to have more this sort of informal meetings between both the countries. Now, China has also realized that this trade war that is going on between between China and USA is a strategy of Washington or America to impede or create problems for this rising China. And China has found this thing, and India knows it very well, that we both countries are neighbors. We both are big countries together. We are talking about 40% of world population, fastest growing major economies in the world, and there are many other things. So if we want to swim together rather than sink together, we have to work with each other. And this is the reason why China has decided to bring this hand forward, hand of friendship with India, because this is the thing through which it can fight this Trump's America First or protectionist policy. As soon as Mr. Modi was here in India, back from China, Li Keqiang, who is Prime Minister of this China, he was a premium of China. He was in Japan. He had this this trilateral meeting with Japan, South Korea, and beg your pardon, this trilateral summit took place between Japan, South Korea, and China, and this Li Keqiang was there. Beijing is also re-engaging with this Japan, South Korea, and ASEAN countries to create this global, to make sure that globalization is protected. And you have this RCEP group here. You have India as a part of this RCEP group. It is basically a free trade group, and there are other groups as well here. Please help yourself with it. Now, as far as 2019 elections are concerned, this Make in India, still it's getting there. We are getting there slowly. There are many good projects out there, but if you want to see a big boost, then we need Chinese investment. And China has decided to open this Indian pharmaceutical companies and IT products and services to perform or to allow market access in China. So this will help Mr. Modi. So these are both, win-win situation for both the countries. With this, this is a third place winner thing. It's basically hung assembly in Karnataka. So now the whole, decision will be of a governor. And of course, the final decision will take place in the floor of the House. Floor test is the main thing, remember. So let's wait and watch what government is, this governor is, what decision governor will take as far as this hung assembly is concerned. Sri Lanka, very briefly, dear friends, it used to be a ceremonial army, right? Just a sort of show-off army, but the challenges, this LTTE thing that took place, it became a serious army, and it claims, and it is right as well to some extent, that it is the only army in the world that has eradicated terrorism from its soil. Now, there are many questions that are raised on this army, that it is interfering with many things and things like that, but it is saying that army commander says that now there is no political pressure at all, and because army is the only institution that has capacity to perform in this north and eastern part of Sri Lanka, where you have this Tamil population and things like that, where LTT thing was going on earlier on. So this is the only institution as far as this army chief is concerned. He is saying that because of this thing, army is there and policing is weak, so army has to take a stand. As far as India is concerned, he has said that biggest neighbor of Sri Lanka is India and best friend as well is India. And when Sri Lanka is taking part with in military exercise with Pakistan or China, there should not be any concern for India because Sri Lanka is a neutral country. With this, we have important news. Sidhu is not guilty of culpable murder. This news we have already talked about. Prime Minister wants media to self-regulate, has been said by Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore. I think Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, yes. He used to be sports minister, now he's going to look after INB ministry. Gazans, right, the people of Gaza, they have buried this death on this Nakba day. Very sad thing that violence has again taken place in this portion of the world, this part of the world, and more than 2,200 Palestinians were injured as well. USA has opened its embassy in Jerusalem. Oil prices going up, and this has widened this trade deficit. Prabhu bets for service pact at World Trade Organization. He has said that this WTO will not be doing full justice to economic development of the world unless service sectors are taken on board as well. And 18 deaths and 14 are injured. This is a very horrific picture that we find in today's newspaper. These are your answers, dear friends, and I have got 2 MCQs for you. Thank you very much for your support. And yesterday, what happened, if you have gone through the comment section, that Veer sir's video was late. How it works is that the first video that we have is his video, and after that it's my video. That's how the slot are issued. So yesterday his video was late, so I had a quick word with him in the morning, so we decided that we will launch English first and then later on, because of internet issue that he was facing. Anyways, thank you very much for your support, love, and make sure you take part in this answer session. Pass your like if you learn something, and do share this lecture with other people. Enjoy your day. Jai Hind.